Hello everyone, this is Pastor Dale recording another video for Open the Book devotional from my home. And recently I did a devotional on Psalm 125 verses 1 to 2 where I talked about how God is like the mountains where He provides security and protection. Well, today I want to talk about valleys, and the Bible has a lot to say about valleys. There's a lot of significant events that happen in the life of Israel and individual people in valleys. But I know that many of you may feel like right now during this whole coronavirus, COVID-19 lockdown, shelter in place, so forth, that you're really having to go through a valley. You know, kids are out of school. Some of your jobs have gone away. Maybe there's concerns regarding finances, health concerns, maybe just not knowing what the future holds is causing you a lot of feelings of difficulty where you just feel like you're going through a valley right now. Well, one thing about valleys is you never quite know when they're going to come. They're unpredictable, and you don't really know how long they'll last. And that's the case with the valley that we're going through right now regarding the coronavirus. We don't really know how long it's going to last, but I want to call your attention to a place in Scripture that is oftentimes overlooked, that isn't really mentioned too much, but really has to do with something that's very significant that happened regarding the valley. In 1 Kings chapter 20, we're reading about King Ben-Hadad, who attacks the northern kingdom of Israel at Samaria. And Samaria was the capital of the northern kingdom at that time. And King Ahab, the famous king, he and Jezebel, he was king of Israel at that time. And Israel won. Israel defeated King Ben-Hadad, even though King Ben-Hadad had all kinds of allies and a huge army coming against Israel. He lost, but he survived the battle. And his advisors told him this. He said, you know, the reason we lost that war, that attack against Israel, was because Israel's gods, plural, are gods of the hills, not of the valleys. And so next year, his advisors talked to him about putting together an army very similar to what he had when he attacked them before, but rather than attacking them in the hills, attack them in the plains and in the valleys, because Israel's gods would not be able to help them there. And so King Ben-Hadad did that, and the following year he gathered an army together, a giant army, and he attacked Israel again. And guess what happened? He lost again, but he survived again. But here's the thing. So many times when we're going through valleys, we wonder where God is in it all. But we need to remember, God is not just the God of the hills when things are going good. He's also the God of the valleys when things are difficult. When we're walking through a very difficult time, we don't know quite what to do or how long it's going to last or really where to go sometimes, and we're really at a loss. I think there's probably three things that I really want to encourage you with today regarding when we go through a valley, whether it's a valley of trouble, whether it's a valley of difficulty, of trials or uncertainty, whatever that valley may be. Remember this, that you are not alone. God is walking with you right through that valley. He is not only the God of the hills, but He is the God of the valleys. The second thing I want you to remember is that valleys are temporary. Valleys don't last forever. Anytime you read about, like in Psalm 23, where David says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he doesn't say, you know, I walk and stay in the valley of the shadow of death. He walks through it. So valleys don't last forever. They are temporary. And thirdly, I want you to remember that God has a purpose for you even when you're in the valley. And maybe that purpose is to develop some awesome spiritual character, strong spiritual character in your life that could not be formed in your life in any other way except for walking through a valley and leaning on Him when you would normally lean on yourself. And when Christ is all you have, He's all you need. And maybe during the valley times, He wants you to see that He's not only enough, He is more than enough. And you can trust Him and lean upon Him. So whatever valley you're going through today, remember that you're not alone, that it's only temporary, and that God has a good purpose that He wants to accomplish in you and through you in the midst of this valley. So God bless you, and I pray that as you go through this valley, you will see and feel God's presence with you, and you'll see God do some great, wonderful things in your life through it. We'll talk to you again next time.